A big what's up to everybody. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be grading every single offseason move by the Philadelphia 76ers occurring during the summer of 2022 to see how it has impacted the squad after 45 plus games into the season, almost 50, making us the second best team in the Eastern Conference up to this point. Sub a brother up for more unique Sixers content because you know what we do here. We have a ton of things to discuss in this video. So without further ado, let's get to the video. So without any particular order, I'm going to start with guard Danuel Melton, who we acquired on draft night via trade with the Memphis Grizzlies, where we would ultimately end up giving them Danny Green in a draft pick. Now off the bat, I have to say that this move is paying dividends already, as evidence of the fact that Melton is now in the starting five of the team, only being in Philadelphia for less than 6 months. And whether or not you want to be upset about Tyrese Maxey being benched as a result, you have to respect the grind put forth by Melton to start as a second-round pick in the league, play in the G League for a few years, eventually being traded, and now being an NBA starter. Bravo, sir. But anyway, this season Melton is averaging 10.9 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.9 assists, shooting 41.7% from the field and 38.9% from three. He is averaging career highs in points, steals, as well as three-point percentage. Now, up to this point of the season, D'Anthony has been better to what he had been advertised as, coming from Memphis, which was a hard-nosed two-way player that will do anything for your team, almost like a gadget guy. So to delve deeper, I have to start with his defensive tendencies, bro. Like, do you see this man on the perimeter guarding opponents? He got steals, cookies galore, fam. I remember him getting like 2 big steals during the end of the Timberwolves game as well as the Lakers games. I think that was like in December or January? No, that had to be December. Legit clutch plays all on the perimeter of the court. And speaking of clutch, Bull really has a 3-point shot that I was not aware he really had during the time frames where we really need them. The coaching staff obviously must trust him because he puts up 6 3-point shot attempts per game. I would say that he needs to work on his fast break finishing and just overall finishing at the rim. You put any pressure on him as he's going up on a fast break and he definitely does miss. But as a fan, I definitely do feel comfortable with him being on the floor, more so to the point where I was, begging that we actually see an Embiid, Harden, Tobias, Melton, and Maxey starting lineup. And while they have not started all together, we definitely have seen that lineup being played in crunch time minutes. So obviously someone is listening. His play and his emergence is one of the many silver linings of the Sixers injury bug at the beginning of the season. He is what Josh Richardson Bumble should have been. Grade B+. Next, we're going to talk about what I believe was the marquee free agent signing for the Sixers during free agency this summer, and that would be one Mr. PJ Tucker. We got him for a 3-year, $33 million deal. This year, he is averaging 3.3 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 26.8 minutes. Now, first off, let me say that those amount of minutes are too darn high, especially if he is playing with a bad knee as well as injured hand, as we obviously need him for the playoffs, but I digress. I have a whole video on his tenure in the city so far, so I won't really go deep into the situation, but at this point in the year, I do believe that PJ Tucker has fulfilled his duty of what he was supposed to bring to the squad intangibly, minus the offense, of course. The question I do have is he an upgrade over the person he was brought to replace? And that would be Danny Green. And if I'm being honest, I don't think so. At least not during the regular season. Now, of course, the real test will come during the playoffs, as everyone has said, but Danny had way more impact, at least from an eye test perspective, than good old PJ has had. But to his credit, in recent games, I've seen PJ getting dirty with offensive rebounding as well as tip outs. So maybe he is back, but I still can't get over the fact that we are bottom 5 in rebounding, which is what he was supposed to bring. Would it be crazy to theorize that potentially PJ is going to be used as a backup 5 when the playoffs begin? Maybe he's just, out here right now getting his conditioning up. Even though his stats are low, they are honestly on par and similar, and they actually a tad bit better than what they were when he got a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks 2 seasons ago. So we'll see. Like it always has been, these wing OG, old head, journeyman defenders are going to be a make or break, more so the glue for our championship run. His grade, a C+. Meh. Shifting gears, we're going to go to the paint and talk about center Montrezl Harrell, who signed a 2-year, $5.2 million deal in the offseason with the Philadelphia 76ers. If you recall, we got Mans out of nowhere for a discount during the summer due to his legal troubles. You gotta love some ganja. But yeah, for the season, he is averaging 5.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, shooting 58.3% from the field, playing 12.5 minutes per game. It must be noted that he is averaging many career lows across the board since his rookie season, which is honestly a result of him playing behind all-world MVP, 2-time snub Joel Embiid. Now, at this point in the season and the amount of minutes he has been getting, it seems like Glenn Doc Rivers has given Trez the de facto backup center role, much to the chagrin of many B-ball Paul fans, which truly was expected in my opinion, because why else would we sign Montrezl Harrell to the team if he wasn't going to play? At the beginning of the year, I was not so high on him being inserted into that role, but over the last few months, that has somewhat changed, which is probably due to his newfound comfortability in the role. Obviously, things take time. It is painfully obvious that he definitely needs James Harden in the lineup that he is inserted in, so that he can get good looks. But it will be interesting to see how that plays out with Maxey now manning the bench as the sixth man. Though Montrezl Harrell is not an upgrade from the backup centers we have had in the past, mainly our boy Andre Drummond, he gives me more of a rich man Amir Johnson vibe in this role. I must say, I do love LOVE, the energy and grit that he brings to the floor, and would be lying if that doesn't change games momentum-wise. The boy obviously cannot defend a lick, but them putback dunks is something to see. So far, B-. Meh. Get into the meat of the video. We have James Harden, affectionately known as the Beard, who signed a 2-year, $68.6 million contract with the Sixers over the summer, which included a player option after this year is over. This season, he is averaging 21.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 11.2 assists, shooting 44.7% from the field and 38% from the three-point line, which is like his highest in 10 years, I believe. First and foremost, in terms of production, the Sixers clearly won the Ben Simmons trade. Though Harden is not the nuclear offensive Harden threat of old, he is making up for it in different ways, especially with assists, where, fun fact, he is currently leading the league. You can tell that he is the fulcrum of the offense by the way he is typically in the middle of every single play, maestering a fast break or getting players open looks through his crafty shiftness. He sustained a foot injury at the beginning of the year that I was high-key concerned about, but since that time he's strapped up the full force, keeping the Sixers a top offensive team in the league. And what I like most about him at this point is his carrying abilities, especially in the fourth quarter. There has been a few times where this team looked dead in the actual water until Harden took over, such as our last game against Brooklyn. The step back is most definitely back, which opens up so much more for the offense, as defenses will be second guessing whether to guard his drive or not. I do hate the fact that he does dumb passes at the end of games, but with the ball in his hands, that's going to happen somewhat. I think it is safe to say that his three will be one of the key factors to how far we make it in the playoffs. Yes, he still flops, but that's what Harden, does. He has filled the facilitation role that who left behind and has exceeded expectations in that instance. He has unlocked a whole new offensive game for the Sixers, especially with that Embiid pick and roll. His grade, A. And finally, we have Danuel House Jr., who signed a 2-year, $8.4 million deal with the team. He is currently averaging 4.7 points, 1.9 rebounds, and 15 minutes of play off of the bench. Now, up to this point, I have to say that he is the worst signing of the offseason. $8 million is definitely steep for someone who barely gets playing time, so I don't know what the front office was thinking here. Of course, he was brought in because of his connection to James Harden, but that cannot make up for his play on the court. Yes, he has, a few good plays here every now and then during a red moon, during a blue moon, but it's definitely not enough. The few times he has been hitting a solid three or making a dunk and transition, but for the most part, he is, put on the floor for cardio. It is very disappointing that the team lacks depth at the wing position. Sorry, Matisse, but it is quite evident that this position poses a large or the largest threat in Achilles' heel come playoff time, which, guess what? It always has been. Be on the lookout for House to be on the trade market this upcoming deadline in the next few weeks. But now that I even think about it, no one would even probably want to pick up that contract since it is 2 years. But then again, it could be used as a filler. I would grade him a D. The coach in the front office. For Glenn, Doc Rivers, say what you want about the man, but he has kept the Sixers on track while their 3 stars were hurt. Obviously, none of this matters because nobody gives a damn about the regular season, but I do not care. I'm going to give him credit for that Nets game. Not the one that we just had, the one that was in November when we beat the Nets. KD, Kyrie, and Benny Boy with Tobias and bench players. Don't kill me in the comment section, but I'm going to give him an A-. The Sixers are tied for second place, for goodness sake. And Daryl, I'll give him a B-. All I will say, we need more wing depth. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. On the screen, I have left you with the rest of my player grades for this season. Let me know what you think in the comments section. The Sixers have the 4th best record in the league with the hardest schedule moving forward. It definitely shall be interesting. My name is Cain, and I will see you next time. Go Birds. Peace.